be recording this session. So we're very excited to have you all come to London soon, and we hope you're excited to come over here and join us. As we go through this presentation, we'll give you a lot of different information on both departures, arrivals, how it is to live in London, how it is to learn in London, and all the different things that you will get up to whilst you're studying here with us. As we go through the presentation, there will be the chance to ask questions in the Q&A box. So please do feel free to ask any questions that might come up throughout the presentation in that box. There will also be some time at the end of the presentation where there will be a Q&A session. So please also hold out questions for that. Or if anything comes up afterwards, please do just ask, and we'll do our best to answer anything in there. As you can see here on the screen, these are the staff members that are with you today, both from Boston and from London. So you'll hear from each of them, and some of them will be here to answer questions in the Q&A box. So yeah, very excited to have you all here. I'll start off with handing it over to Catherine, who will take us through some visa information for your departures.
Hi, everybody. My name's Catherine Baker. I'm the Visa and Compliance Manager here at NU London. I know that me and my team have been working with you closely since May to make sure that you have your visas in time for your arrival here in September. So I'm sure you're all very aware of the process and you're thick in the middle of it at the moment, but I just run through a couple of things briefly. So all students who are not UK or Irish citizens are required to have a student visa to enroll and study on the London Scholars Programme. Currently, students should be in the process of obtaining either their CAS, or if they have their CAS, obtaining their visa. I would ask that all students who have obtained their CAS from the visa team are making their online visa application and attending their biometrics appointments. If you haven't started this CAS process, you need to contact the visa team. Our email address is there on the screen as soon as possible, because we need to make sure that you have your visa in time to enroll on this program. It's also important, if you are in the middle of your visa process, that you keep your dedicated VCO up to date with where you are in that process. So if you've attended your biometrics appointment or you've received your visa, please do let us know and make sure to upload a copy of your visa sticker to your Cash Shield account. And I know that we've had a lot of questions from students regarding their entry clearance visas, that the one that you get in your passport. Don't worry that it only covers 90 days. You'll be receiving your full visa, which covers the duration of your program of study when you enroll at NU London. It's really important that students don't travel to the UK before they have received their UK student visa. If you do arrive in the UK without the correct visa permission, you'll not be able to enroll on the London Scholars Programme. Can I have the next slide, please? Secondly, I'm going to quickly chat to you about GDPR. So that's General Data Protection Policy here in the UK. And what that means is that we cannot discuss anything about students, about their academic or personal circumstances with parents or guardians without the student's permission. This is UK law, and we at the institution here have to abide by it. So it's really important that families understand that unless we have express permission to do so from the student in writing, we cannot discuss anything about the students with their family or their legal guardians. And I'll hand it over to the next person.
All right, thank you, Catherine. Hello, everyone. My name is Jess Coverdale, and I'm one of the Residence Life Managers. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what it's like living abroad and things you should consider. So first up is going to be your mobile phone while you're abroad. So most importantly, it is required that students have a working phone, meaning that they're able to text, call, and use data while they are in the UK. Historically, students will connect with their phone provider in their home country and discuss international plans, which are really useful in terms of not only being in the UK, but if students decide to travel around Europe, they'll have a phone that works in all of these countries. We do recommend a couple of sort of pay-as-you-go SIMs. So if students want to wait until they get to the UK, they can buy a separate SIM and put that into their phone, and then it just works in London. Additionally, you can add an international plan to that if you decide to travel outside of the UK. Importantly, right, you're going to be leaving home, moving away from friends and family. So taking the time now to talk with your friends and family about how you want to stay in touch. Like, are you going to create a schedule? What methods will you use? I think it's really important to have those open conversations before you leave. And then it just sets expectations. In terms of banking and budgeting, it's really important that you're notifying any bank or credit card companies that you'll be traveling and potentially using your card outside of the US so that it's not flagged or frozen while you're here. And then just being aware that if you do use an international card or a US bank card internationally, there are potential transaction fees and conversion costs that go with that. Importantly, in terms of medication and prescriptions, if you need to bring medication or prescriptions with you to London, it's really important that you're packing or keeping the packaging in its original bottle and carrying the prescription on you. If the prescription is on the bottle, that is great. Don't tear it off. Try to bring as much as you're able to bring. Obviously, as a London scholar, you will be here for a year. You might have plans to go home in between the semesters or over breaks. So just making sure you're thinking through how much medication you need before you might be able to refill it. If you need to refill it in London, we'll be able to assist you with that, and we'll touch upon that later in the presentation. But what's really important is that you're not shipping any medications. Just don't do that at all. In terms of what to bring, I know in Residence Life, we've been getting a lot of questions from students, excited to start packing. And so we want to touch upon some of the important things. Before we go into the details, remember that whatever you pack, you'll have to carry it to the airport, you'll have to carry it from the airport to the coaches. And then when the coaches arrive at the residence halls, there is a little bit of a walk between drop-off points and the actual residence hall. So it's really important that you can carry what you are bringing. And so we do say, like, keep it to 2 large suitcases and a backpack so that you can carry it through the streets of London. As well, important to note is a lot of our streets can have cobblestone on them. So just think that through in terms of practicality of wheeling suitcases and things like that. Pack light, right? You can buy a lot of things in London. Amazon exists in the UK. Anything that you may forget at home or you may want to buy after you've arrived and you've seen your room, they can be bought. Making sure that you're reviewing the airline's baggage policy as well. We'd hate for you to get to the airport and not be able to bring your suitcases with you. In terms of what to bring raincoats, appropriate shoes and rain boots since it rains regularly in London. It's funny, it's raining right now. Making sure you're bringing clothes that can be layered and mixed and matched since the weather will vary greatly. We've had some very warm summers recently that change very suddenly into cold days. So it's really great to pack in terms of layering. Remember that there's rarely air conditioning in the UK. There is no air conditioning in our residence halls. And so when you're out and about, when you might be at home in shops or using public transport, it may feel hot. So just keeping that in mind in terms of what clothes would you bring with you. And of course, you'll want to buy things, whether you're buying things in London, you're buying things on our overnight trip, you're traveling independently and buying things. you'll want to bring things home to remember your time in London. So make sure you leave room for new clothes and new styles, and maybe a gift or two for your family and friends. Finally, touching upon adapters and converters, our plugs are different, as well as our voltage is different as well. So making sure that you bring an adapter with you. You can buy them in London, but if you pack at least one, it gets you started once you've landed. But it'll allow you to plug all of your international plugs into the UK outlets. And then most importantly as well is the electricity supply in England has a different voltage. And so you should really be checking whether your electrical goods that you might bring will work. Mainly this is in terms of hair dryers, straighteners, those sort of things that require different voltage levels to work. But again, you can buy those in London if you so wish. It's still me. So additionally, in terms of what to bring, we have been getting a lot of questions in Res Life about maybe you're traveling early, you're coming a couple days before arrivals and move-in, and what can you do with your stuff? So we want to make it clear that NU London, the Res Life team, and our partners residence halls are unable to hold or store luggage for you, and we're unable to accept mail on your behalf before the arrival date of your program. And so for London scholars, that is September 3rd. Anyone traveling to the UK or Europe prior to September 3rd, you are able to store your luggage in sort of storage units or storage options across London, and we have many within walking distance or public transit usage near every residence hall. And as I mentioned earlier, please don't mail anything to your student or to yourself at the residence hall, because before you check in, they won't know who you are and they will return it to sender. In terms of storage, our staff have done some research for you. So if you are looking to store things for a week or more, thinking large luggage items, perhaps you're coming early and you want to buy some appliances before you move in and you want to store them rather than store them at a hotel or an Airbnb, we found this wonderful company called Safe Store, where you can store things for as less than a week, and in spaces as small as 10 square foot and as big as 500 square foot. I would hope no one needs a 500 square foot space, but just letting you know all your options. And it's very reasonable at £36 a week for 10 square foot of space, which is generally 1 or 2 boxes, maybe a suitcase, a small carry-on item. And then additionally, there's also an app called Radical Luggage. These are located generally around transport hubs, so train stations, bus stations. If you're coming a day or two before move-in and you've decided to take a 1 or 2 day trip to Paris or somewhere in Europe, then rather than take all of your suitcases with you, you can pay £5 per bag per day to store them. Finally, in terms of storage or just thinking ahead, students in the past have used a website called My Baggage and to get door-to-door shipping for any additional suitcases that you might need. So if your student wants to swap out their seasonal clothing and is not making a trip home, you can arrange for this company to pick up a suitcase full of clothing that they might need, and they will pick it up from your door and deliver it to the residence hall. If you're wanting more information about any of these storage options, please email us. I'll make sure I share the Res Life email shortly, and we'll be happy to provide more information. I'm going to hand it over to arrivals.
Thanks, Jess. Hi guys. So I'm just going to go through the arrivals for your arrival date of Sunday the 3rd. That date shouldn't be a surprise to you. I'm hoping not. So Sunday the 3rd, that's the arrival date. Just to reinforce what Jess said, you cannot arrive early to your accommodation. The 3rd is the day that we are planning your coaches and your check into accommodation on that date. So upon arrival at Heathrow Airport, we will be there to meet you if you're joining us on the group flights or if you're connecting via the independent flights around a similar time. We will be based at Terminal 2 and Terminal 5 predominantly, and that's where our coaches will be leaving the terminals from. I've popped a couple of photos in here for you, just in terms of where our staff are going to be located. So at Terminal 2, it's just next to the travel services and information desk, which is right in front of the arrivals exit as you come out of Terminal 2 arrivals point. So we'll be just to the left of that. And at Terminal 5, there's lots of signs that hang down from the ceiling, and there's one that says Meeting Point South, and we'll be based just under there. But please don't worry if that's not immediately obvious, because we'll be there making ourselves known, and we'll be there to greet you and welcome you to the UK once you've landed. T3, we will have staff based there, but we won't have coaches leaving from there. So if you're landing into T3, you just need to make your way to T2. That's a short walk. There are connected terminals, and that's roughly a 10-minute walk, but it does take slightly longer with luggage. So again, bear the luggage in mind. And then again, you'll just be meeting us at Travel Services and Information, and we'll get you on those coaches. If I could have the next slide, Jess, that'd be great. Fab. So just to reinforce, we have those group flights that are coming into Heathrow across those terminals, and we will have staff based at the airport to join you on the coaches and to make sure you get on the right coach to the right accommodation on that morning. They're roughly about an hour and a half after the group flight lands, and that's just to allow for you to get through customs and get your bags and to make sure that everyone is here all together before we all get on the coach. If you're not on the group flight and you've completed that independent travel form and you've asked to join us on the group coaches, then we, the London staff, will coordinate with you directly about joining us on those coaches. If you haven't completed that form and it's something that you wanted to join us on, we will do our very best to accommodate you. It will have to be aligned with the group flight times. But predominantly what we're saying is that the last coach of the day leaves Terminal 2 and Terminal 5 at around 3 p.m. But you know, we will communicate that as we go over the next few weeks, and there'll be a slide on that later. And just a final reinforcement of that luggage piece, because we are serious, 2 large suitcases maximum. And the reason we say this is because if you all bring lots of baggage, we can't fit it in the coach, and we want to make sure that you all have the ability to get your luggage on the coach. So please do keep each other in mind when you're packing, so that we can get you all on nice and comfy on the coaches, and you can kind of get through nice and easily. Next slide if I can, Jess. So just to kind of reinforce, so obviously you don't have to join us on the coaches, and there are many of you that filled out that form that said that you were traveling independently through London, or perhaps you're coming with your family a little bit earlier. Honestly, the London Underground is an extremely fast and reliable service from all airports, but the Elizabeth line in particular is a brand new tube service that goes from Heathrow Airport, and it is amazing. Honestly, you can get from Heathrow Airport to central London in around 45 minutes, and you can get to all of the housing providers via Liverpool Street Station or Whitechapel Station via the Elizabeth line within an hour. Now, that coming from someone that lives in London, to get from one side of London to another in an hour, that's amazing. So honestly, it's a fantastic service. Just to kind of bear in mind, and again, we're linking back to that luggage situation, but every housing provider is around a 10-minute walk, some are less, from the nearest tube station. So, and there are a lot of cobbled streets, so do bear that in mind if you're traveling via the tube to the nearest tube stop. The Heathrow Express, I'm sure you guys have done some research. The Heathrow Express is a great option. You can get really quickly to Paddington Station in 15 minutes, but you do still need to connect to the Elizabeth line from Paddington Station. So it's just depending on how you want to do it and what suits you. Equally, Ubers, you know, are great in London, and so are taxis, and they're readily available from Heathrow Airport. They do take roughly an hour and a half to get through London, and with traffic that can take a little bit longer. So it's a slightly slower route than the tubes, but equally, you know, if it's probably a bit more comfortable for you, if that's what you're after. So lots of options in terms of travel in London. Great. Pass it back to you, Jess, I think.
Perfect. Thanks, Robin. So Again, my name is Jess Coverdale. I'm one of the Residence Life Managers, and I'm now going to talk to you about living in London. I'm sure a lot of you have questions about what the residence halls look like. And so all of our students, so all of our London Scholar students and our Global Scholar students will live in one of our 6 residence halls located across East London. The 6 that we are partnered with this year are Chapter Aldgate, Chapter Spitalfields, Chapter Old Street, IQ Will Wyatt, IQ Aldgate, and Scape Mile End. Hopefully, all of you have filled out our housing preference form, so none of this information is new to you. But we do like to share that all buildings have the following amenities: a 24/7 reception, a night security team, mailboxes and sort of parcel storage, cinema rooms, study spaces, as well as communal spaces. In terms of the individual rooms set up, when you arrive in London, every room that the student is assigned to will have a compact double or twin bed, a study area that's equipped with a desk and a chair, a closet with storage space, a double duvet, pillows, and an accompanying linen packet, so fitted sheets, all the duvet covers, pillow covers that you'll need, as well as a kitchen pack, which is sort of your basic kitchen necessities, couple of pans, kitchen utensils, dishware, enough to get you started so that when you arrive in London, you can not only immediately take a nap because the bed will be made, but you can also make yourself breakfast or lunch if you so wish. Importantly, what we don't provide are towels and bath mats. So I encourage all students to pack at least one towel when they are traveling, so that once they've arrived at their residence hall and they've checked in, they can take a shower and sort of wash off the grime of traveling. We don't provide any small appliances, so toasters, kettles, rice cookers, air fryers, anything that you might need to live in your space, anything you might want to live in your space. That's not something we provide. It's something that you can certainly find locally or order online. And then cleaning supplies are also something that we as a department do not provide. And so again, brooms, vacuums, mops, anything like that can be bought in the local areas. In terms of our residence hall setups, there are a number of different room types that we provide to students this year. And so our studio rooms are 1-person private rooms, private bathrooms, and a personal kitchenette. And they can be located at our Chapter Spitalfields, Chapter Aldgate, Chapter Old Street, and IQ Aldgate buildings. And so students who are assigned a studio room will live on their own, like say, with a private bathroom and a personal kitchenette that comes with a fridge and freezer, an induction hob or a 2-ring stovetop, and then a combination grill microwave oven. And then every student will receive the kitchen pack in their space. We also have 2-bed, 4-bed, and ensuite apartments. So our 2-bed and 4-bed apartments are found at Chapter Spitalfields. Every student in our 2 and 4 beds have a private bedroom. You will share a bathroom. So in a 2-bed, you'll share 1 bathroom, and then in a 4-bed, you'll share 2 bathrooms. There's a shared kitchen, a small breakfast bar, or living space, depending on the size of the apartment, as well as a kitchen pack that is provided large enough to accommodate everybody that lives in that space. At our Scape Mile End and IQ Will Wyatt sites, you'll find more of the traditional UK housing experience, so 6, 7, 8-person apartments. I want to really stress that despite the number of people living in these spaces, every student gets a private bedroom and a private ensuite bathroom. You will share a kitchen and a shared living space that comes furnished similarly: fridge, freezers, ovens, stovetops, and again, big enough and large enough to accommodate for the entire apartment. As well, kitchen packs are provided. So outside of sort of what housing looks like, I want to talk to you a little bit about the concept of residence life. So residence life and our residence life team It creates inclusive and supportive communities within the residence halls. We help you settle into London. We, want you to develop an appreciation for the local communities around you through programming. And then also our team are there to help you find any support that you might need at any point during the year when you need it. Very soon, you'll be connected with one of our residence life coordinators. And so every student is grouped to a residence life coordinator, and think of this of your sort of RA, if you a resident assistant, if you've ever heard of that term. Our RLCs will provide mentorship and guidance to students in their group. You'll have mandatory monthly one-on-one conversations with your RLC just to check in, see how you're doing, see how we can help you. If there are things you want to do around London or programs you want to see in the residence hall, that's a great time to let your RLC know so that they can plan them. Our RLCs do live in the residence halls, and they are on call 24/7 with an emergency phone number that we will provide you with once you land in London, so that you can get in contact with a staff member at any time of the day if you're in trouble or experiencing an emergency, and we can assist. Webinars, much like this, between students and their residence life coordinator will take place near the end of this month. Once housing assignments have gone out, and that way the coordinator will be able to talk more in depth about the building the students are living in, sort of get you all excited for coming to London, start planning what programs you might want to see within the residence halls, and just get a good idea of who's in your family group and the people you'll be living around. As I mentioned, we do several residence life events. So our events in the residence halls are for smaller groups, particularly for those family groups, so about 30 students. And again, that's so you get to know the students that you live among. But we will also do building-wide events as well, so you get to know everybody that lives within the building. And if anyone ever has any ideas for those programs, certainly reach out and let us know. I can talk about this if you like.
I can jump in, Jess, no problem.
Okay, thanks, Robin.
Excuse me whilst I just sorted out my sound. I'm not sure if many of you have been to London before, but Oyster cards are quite a big thing here. They're our easiest way to travel around the London tube system and buses. And as part of the London Scholars Programme, you each individually get your own Oyster card, and that provides you free travel in zones 1 and 2, which is pretty much all of central London, and that is amazing. They can be used outside of these zones, but they just require a little top up of money to be able to do that. But you do get a discounted rate past those points, so it's still cheaper even with the card to do that. And so basically that can be used on the London Tube and the London Overground, which is the orange line, and the buses. I cannot stress enough that they cannot and should not be lost, because they are next to impossible to replace, and it will take us a long time to get that replaced for you. So you'd be responsible for your travel costs in that in-between period. So please don't lose it, because we don't want you to do that. So we want you to very much take care of it. You'll be given that on your first day when you register and check into your accommodation, so you'll get it straight away. Just to kind of note, this doesn't get you on the national rail links in the UK, so you can't use your Uber to go to Liverpool or something like that, and you can't use it to kind of get into taxis or Ubers or anything like that as well. But the zones 1 and 2, that will get you all over the place, and you'll be able to use it to your heart's content whilst you're on the programme. I will make a note of an app now that's worth downloading, and that's called City Mapper. It's the most reliable travel app to use within London, and not only does it tell you the timings and everything like that, but it also tells you if the tube's air conditioned and what point on the tube you should get off for the quickest exit and all these things. So do download that and do a little bit of like kind of what happens if I go from here to here, or show you all sorts of routes. So you can play around with that before you come. So that's London travel in a nutshell.
Thanks, Robin. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Nina Rowland. I'm Associate Director for our mobility programs in London. And in that capacity, I oversee the student academic experience in London. And I'm also Assistant Professor of French. So I'll tell you a bit more about what your academic life will be in London, starting with the program structure for each semester. And this is a good point to note in your agenda a few key dates if you want to. So in each semester, you will have 14 weeks. That includes 11 teaching weeks. You will also have a week dedicated to midterm exams and a week dedicated to final exams. And of course, you will get a break as well. So if we have a look at the autumn structure, the classes will begin on the 11th of September and end on the 15th of December. Your midterm exam week will be week commencing 23rd October, and that means that you will not only have exams for courses that have exams, but also some summative assignments such as presentations. So this is a very important week for you to note and to be present. Your autumn break will coincide with the Thanksgiving break. So that will be week commencing 20th November. This is a good time to travel if you want to, or for your parents to visit you in case you want to stay in London. And finally, you will have your final exam week, the final week of the semester, commencing 11th December. In spring, it will be a very similar structure. The only difference is that you will have a 2-week break for spring break, but otherwise you will also have the midterm exam week and the final exam week. Can I have the next slide? Something that I want to talk to you about now, although we will go into the details of it once you're in London, are a few differences between the US education system and the UK education system. So although the academic program and all your courses are integrated within the Northeastern Boston curriculum, courses are also accredited in the UK, which means that there are some differences because we also need to follow some UK regulations. One of the big differences is around the grading system. When you are in London, you will receive numerical grades for each assignment that will be translated into letter grades, and they will count into your GPA. I will show you in a minute the differences, but basically our numerical scale is different from what you might be used to. Another difference around the grading system is around the turnaround time to get your grades back and your feedback once they have been submitted. It will take several weeks for you to get them back. And you will find that very long. And we know that students can be a bit impatient, but there is a reason for that. Again, due to our regulations in the UK. It's because once your assignments have been graded by your professors, then they are checked by an internal examiner, a moderator, to make sure that everything has been graded in a fair, reliable, and consistent way among students and across sections. So that's why we have several levels of scrutiny, and that's why it takes time as well for you to get your grades back. Again, we will explain all the details around these regulations once you are in London, and you will have access to resources as well if you want to find out more. Another difference is around extensions and attendance. Everything at NU London is centralized. So that means that you will not ask your professor directly for an extension if you need an extension for an assignment. And you will not also ask them for an absence if you need to be absent. All that will be centralized by our registry office. So you will need to fill out forms. So an extension form if you need an extension, an absence form if you need an absence. And of course, extension and absences, they need to follow exceptional circumstances, and they cannot be asked all the time. But just to tell you that it's usually not the professor that will decide whether you get the extension or not. It will be our registry office. Can I have the next slide? So this is our grading scale at NU London and the conversion into letter grades and also the GPA points as well. So if you look at the left column here, you can see our numerical grades going from 0 to 100. However, you will see that it doesn't match what you might be used to if you look at the letter. So for example, here, anything from 70 and higher is an A. So sometimes this creates some anxieties when students, for example, get a grade in the 60s, and if they get to 65, they think that they didn't do really well, when in fact 65 is an A minus, so it's not bad at all. So it might take a bit of time to get used to this scale, because what you will see when you get your assignments back in London is the NU London numerical grades. They will not show the letters on your assignments themselves. It's something that you will need to check for yourself. However, once everything is passed on to Boston for your transcripts, you will see letters and your GPA as well in there. You will have access to this conversion chart. It will be posted on and uploaded in different places, especially on Canvas, which is our virtual learning environment, but you will have access to that in different places in any case once you are in London. Can I have the next slide, please? And finally, I just want to tell you a bit more generally about what it is like to study in London and at Northeastern London. For example, in terms of what your classroom environment will be like. So usually you will be in small groups with 20, 35 students in one classroom, depending on the subject. For some subjects, such as STEM courses and computer science, for example, you might be more than that in lectures, but you will also have some labs when you are in smaller groups. You will have the opportunity to have some experiential learning in your courses. That means that you will have site visits, for example, guest lectures. You will be able to go out of the classroom and to use London as your classroom, and especially for the culture courses that you will take while you're here. You don't need to worry right now about course materials and textbooks. That's something that you will be informed of when you arrive here. Usually course materials are available on Canvas, which is our virtual learning environment. So each course has a Canvas page and your materials will be available there. If you need to purchase some textbooks, you will have the opportunity to do so during Welcome Week once you are here. But again, you will be told whether you need to buy anything once you're here. And finally, something to bear in mind to know how to organize your time while you're in London is the workload. So usually you would have 3 hours a week per course, and they're usually split into 2 sessions per week. But it's good also to work outside of these contact hours and to work independently on your own, to do some revising, studying, and practicing. So we usually say that you need to spend twice the amount of time that you are in the class independently to work at home. So that would be around 6 hours per course in the semester. So something to bear in mind just to organize yourself. So that's all from me. You will be able to get in touch with me. You'll see that I'll get in touch as well with you. But if you have any questions while you're here, I will answer any program level questions. And I'll pass it on for academic support now. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Maya Leonard. I'm one of the academic advisors here in London. And so basically for academic support, we provide academic support and advising. Our services include giving guidance on time management, organization, note-taking and active listening, study skills, the academic policies that Nina had just mentioned, and much more. We also help students select courses, and we also aid in your transition from London to Boston. While you are in London, your assigned advisor here is your first point of contact for all things academics. So please reach out to one of us first, instead of attempting to contact a Boston advisor. The academic advisors are assigned by college, which will give you that information once you're here for orientation. Our team also includes specialized tutors. We have a learning differences advisor who specializes in supporting our students who are diverse or have learning differences. We also have an English and academic writing advisor. This tutor provides support to students in developing their academic English skills. And throughout the year, she also hosts a variety of workshops that hone in on academic English skills. And finally, we also have a math tutor who will be able to provide one-on-one support to students who are taking math courses such as Mathematical Methods 1 or 2 or Calculus for Business. There's also our email address on the screen there. Next slide. So some important reminders and some frequently asked questions. The first thing I wanted to touch on is transferring credit from whether it's like your AP scores, IB scores, dual enrollment, or A levels. In order to receive that credit from those types of systems and all other types of transfer credits, you need to report them to Northeastern's Boston team. Please keep in mind that you can only have up to 32 semester/credit hours in transfer credits, and this credit will show on your official Northeastern transcript as credit for the NU course equivalent, but without a grade. So essentially those credits are not going to affect your GPA. For more information on how to report credits, please see the email that we sent to you on the 18th of July from the academic advising email address. That outlines how to make sure you're reporting your credit correctly. And if you're not sure that your credit has been received, I recommend emailing the email address that's on the screen, the transfercredit@northeastern.edu directly. They'll be able to check. As for major and course change requests, we are not accepting any requests for changes to your course schedule at this time or your course registration. We will be unable to make any changes until our add drop period, which starts on the first day of classes, which is September 11th. By the 14th of August, you will receive an email from us that includes information on what courses you are registered for, our policy and procedure on how to request changes to your schedule, aka that add drop period, and where to learn more about your courses. It will be sent to your NU email, so please be on the lookout for that. Also, you may know this, but the major change window has also closed. It closed yesterday on the 1st. The next opportunity you have to request a change of major will be during the fall semester. So don't worry about that if you didn't get that in on time. Also, the Scholars Hold, please do not worry about the Scholars Hold. It's just to block you from signing up for courses at Boston's campus. If you have registered for our classes here and you filled out our registration form, then you're all set. Everyone should be registered for classes, so that's not an issue. As for schedules, you will receive your official course schedule, or timetable is what we usually call it, during your orientation in London. We cannot provide this prior to your arrival. The timetable will show you when and where your lectures and or labs will take place. And finally, there will be an advisor meet and greet on Wednesday, 20th of September. It's basically just kind of like a stop in, meet your advisor, introduce yourself to us kind of thing. This information about the meet and greet will be included in the First Mobility newsletter, and this will be a great way to get acquainted with your assigned advisors before classes get into full swing. And that is it for me. Thank you.
That's me. Hi, everyone. I am Jade. I'm a student support coordinator from the Student Support and Development team. The Student Support and Development team are available to support you with a range of matters such as general advice, support relating to your studies and personal circumstances, mental health advice, disability learning support, financial and budgeting advice, and overall help you navigate your university life. We offer confidential, personalized information, advice, guidance, and support on anything that is affecting your ability to study, or if it's affecting your mental health and well-being. The teams are able to signpost, make referrals into relevant specialist support, such as counseling, just like you have find at Northeastern. NU London has Spectrum Life, which is a 24/7 student support, which offers confidential free phone line and online chat function that students can use 365 days a year. The team also offers flexible support from a one-off conversation to regular appointments throughout the term. So you can contact the Student Support and Development team through making appointments through Target Connect, which we will show students once we start the semester. We offer a safe and non-judgmental space to discuss concerns or any worries. And then next slide, please. Student support also has a range of disability resources. So if students have a medical condition or they need to make any reasonable adjustments to during the exams or any like mental or physical disability or any specific learning differences that may impact your studies from a day-to-day basis, please contact the London Wellbeing Coordinators at the email address is there at disability@nulondon.ac.uk. So the wellbeing coordinators will be there to guide you with any paperwork and like any adjustments that need to be made and any accommodations that also need to be made once you start semester. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jade. Following up from sort of student support, we also want to touch upon health insurance and sort of medical concerns while you're here in London. So for medical emergencies, students should always be calling 999 or 112. 999 is the UK emergency services line, much like it's 911 in the US. But 112 is an emergency line in which you can call in any country and be redirected to the emergency services in the country that you're at. So 112 is very useful for students who may be traveling outside of London and you might not be aware of what the emergency line is. 112 will redirect you. In the UK, we also have 111. It's a symptom advice sort of helpline. So through the NHS, if you are unsure if you should be seeing a doctor or a pharmacist, or if it's something that requires an ambulance or a hospital trip, and you're just not sure on what you should be doing. In addition to calling the Red Life team for support, you should and can call 111, in which someone will take note of your symptoms, will ask you questions about how you're feeling, what things you've already put in place, and they'll be able to direct you in how to get the most appropriate care. So that's always very useful. There are many hospitals around London, and when you meet with your RLC in August, they will go through the closest hospital so that all students are aware. We do have accident and emergency rooms, which is what we call ERs, and then urgent care as well, that students will have access to 24/7. Jade has already talked about our mental health resources, but know that you can connect with any member of the NU London team, and we'll be happy to signpost and assist students who may require some mental health support. In terms of the health and travel insurance, all students must have their own health insurance for the duration of the program. It is highly encouraged that when students are traveling to London, they bring with them a copy of what this health insurance plan looks like, any ID card that they may need, as it just makes it a lot easier for students and for staff assisting to connect students with healthcare providers without trying to contact parents and guardians to get this information, especially when there is a time difference. Students are encouraged to bring previous health records for any pre-existing condition and anything that they feel might require a prescription while they are traveling or in London. This just helps with when meeting with a doctor, if you have previous health records, if you have something that might need to be re-diagnosed as part of the NHS or as part of that doctor, it's very important to have, and makes the process easier to bring pre-existing health records. As a Northeastern student traveling on an international program, you do have access to the Global Safety and Support Network, more commonly referred to as GSSN. This is a 24/7 international assistant hotline. So wherever you may be, you can give them a call, you explain that you're a Northeastern student and tell them what you're looking for, whether that is needing assistance, finding a healthcare provider, losing your passport, losing an ID, anything that might be sort of an emergency and you're just not sure how to handle it, especially if you're outside of London, the GSN team will be able to support and provide guidance. Particularly how we've seen this be used in the past is with urgent and emergency care. So if students find themselves in an emergency health situation, or they require urgent care for a medical condition that is not pre-existing and has developed while they are on the program, you can connect with the GSSN team and they'll help find healthcare providers and put in a plan of action so that students can receive the care that they need. Some of this, it's important to note, may be at an out-of-pocket cost to the student and or family/guardian, but all of that information will be given to the student when they call. And then as a London Scholar student, you do have access to the NHS. You are encouraged, and our RLCs will be working with all of our London Scholar students to get them registered with a local GP, so that you have access to a medical professional. I'll hand over to Maya for student life in London.
All right, thanks, Jess. So hi everyone again. I am Maya and I'm one of the student life managers. So just to talk to you a little bit about student life. So student life is here to support you through your journey in London and make sure that you experience all the amazing things that London has to offer. We work very closely with the student voice, our student representatives, and the student union, through which students can join lots of different sports clubs and societies, or you can even set up your own. To talk a little bit more about the student union, the student union is a group of students from different degrees and year groups, and other than supporting the clubs and societies, as I mentioned before at NU London, they also are there for that peer-to-peer support and community building. So they arrange a lot of different events and activities, and also a lot of different fundraising and volunteering opportunities. So do reach out to them already now if you're interested in hearing more, or you can follow them on the Instagram that you can see below. If I can have the next slide, perfect. For your first week in London, we have a lot of different things arranged. As you can see here, there's a poster. Feel free to take a picture. Of course, we'll be sending out this recording to you via email as well. But here are some of the highlights of what's going to be happening that first week that you're with us. There'll be a big welcome mixer. You'll get to go to the London Eye. You'll get to do a bus tour if you wish, and a boat cruise or a boat cruise on the River Thames. So there'll be loads of different things for you to get up to. We have a great big convocation and orientation planned on the Tuesday. So loads of different things to get up to. Other than that, Student Life also arranged loads of different events and excursions to get you out in London and take part in some of the activities that you can do around the city. Some of the things that we have already planned are musical shows, day trips around the UK to Cambridge, Brighton and Oxford. You'll go to Harry Potter Studios, ice skating, and then we do a big, great British bake-off in the actual bake-off tent, which will be really amazing and was very successful last year. The students had a lot of fun. And then we always do an end of term celebration where the students can come together and celebrate finishing their finals and say goodbye for the winter break. And then, of course, we'll see you back in January. Other than that, we also have our overnight trips. So for the London Scholars, for you guys, that will be in the spring term. So that will be in this weekend that you can see here in February, where you'll have a chance to go to either Manchester or Bath via Stonehenge. Those signups will be available later on in the fall semester. So do keep an eye on your Northeastern email, which we will keep reminding you, keep an eye on that email, because there's a lot of important information that you will get through that email. If I can have the next slide, perfect. Also wanted to mention our Thanksgiving, because our Thanksgiving is always a very big thing in London. It's always an amazing experience. The Northeastern president always puts on a big celebration during Thanksgiving here in London. And this year he's gone bigger and better and rented out the first carbon neutral boat in the UK, which is an amazing opportunity to celebrate Thanksgiving and have a 3-course meal while you're sailing away on the Thames River. So it'll be a really amazing experience, and we hope that all of you will take part in that, or most of you at least. As the last thing that we actually have for you today is the upcoming communication. As I said before, keep an eye on your Northeastern email. At least check it once or twice a day, because there is a lot of important information, and especially throughout August, you will receive a lot of different information that's very important. In the beginning of August, you'll see that you will receive your enrollment credentials via email. There'll also be the Welcome Week schedule that'll be sent out to you. And your room allocations, which I think a lot of people are very excited to hear about. So do keep an eye on your email. There's also a very important date where you must complete your visa Google form, which is 11th of August. So please, please, please make sure that you've completed that visa Google form. There's also, you should also be receiving an email from your academic support on August 11th. And then you have the housing webinars with your RLC and your family group, where you'll get to meet them, and some of the other students that will be in your family group get to ask questions and tell them things that you want to do while you're in London. Then on the 1st of September, you'll get your first student newsletter with lots of information, and you'll also get the chance there to sign up for different events and excursions. So do keep an eye out for that on the 1st of September. I know that's right before you all arrive, but do make sure that you read through that, because if there are particular events that you're interested in, then it'll be a first come, first serve. So make sure that you keep an eye on that. And I think that was it for us. I think we've gone through everything now. So now we've gotten to the questions and answers. I know that there's been a lot of different and amazing questions and asked in the Q&A, but please also feel free to raise any other questions, and then we'll try and answer them. And I'll see here if there's some that we can answer out in the forum. I can see that there's a lot of questions about the visa Google form. Catherine, would you be able to just talk through the visa Google form?
Hello. Yes. Actually, the Google Forms for the global scholars students, not the London scholars. So if you're London scholars, don't worry about the Google form at all.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's my mistake.
Let's see if there's some other ones.
So I can see that someone's got a question with regards to returning back to London for your classes if you're going home during the winter break. Sorry, I've just got a little cough. So just a kind of few points on that one. One is that just for clarity's sake, you don't for you as London scholars, you don't move out during the accommodation break. You can leave your stuff in the accommodation and move around during that time, and then you guys just need to be back for the first day of classes for London scholars. So you've got a nice bit of time to do lots of traveling.
I can also see that there is some questions about your schedule. So when you'll receive your class schedule, which you will receive during that first week when you come to London.
I'm just going to jump in here because I saw a question about the diplomas and transcripts, bringing your high school diplomas and transcripts with you to London. So if we have written your diploma, if it specifically says diploma on your CAS, you'll need to bring your diploma certificate with you to enrollment. If we've written your transcript, you don't need to bring the transcript because we have the transcript electronically, but if we've used diploma certificate, we do need to see that at enrollment time. So you'll need to pack that in your bags. So do check your CAS. If you do have questions about that, drop an email to your dedicated VCO and they'll be able to let you know if you need to bring that with you to London.
Perfect. Thank you, Catherine.
Could I jump in about tours? Yeah, fab. There's a few questions on if your family or yourself are visiting over the summer or just before you arrive in London, and whether or not you can come and see the campus. You absolutely can. There's a form on our website that you just need to submit to let us know that you're coming, so we can get that arranged for you. And we've got a little link to send you to that form, which we will post in the chat very shortly. Coming from Toten as I speak. But yeah, if you are in London and you want to come and see us, please do. That's it's a beautiful campus and we like to show it off. See what else is going on. Equally, I will say lots of fantastic questions. Please do keep them coming. But also, if you've got any particular questions from us in terms of, you know, favorite things to do in London or things to kind of get you excited and things, please do throw them our way. The quirkier, the better.
I can see that there is some questions on health insurance. I don't know, Jess, if you are able to answer that, or if perhaps Shannon or Jake could jump in.
I would defer to the Northeastern team. Generally, if you have questions about health insurance, I have recommended students in the past connect with the Global Safety office, is the best to advise.
Yeah, I can jump in. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Shannon Fairley-Pittman, director of this wonderful program, and so excited for this team. They did a wonderful job presenting on this information. Regarding health insurance, I guess the first part is that as a London Scholar student, we are asking that you have your own health insurance during the duration of this program. So for London Scholars, this is the entire year of your program. You should be having your own personal health insurance. Now, there will be information that will be shared with you as a one-year London student. There's resources in London that you can take part in. So the London team will be able to provide that for you upon your arrival. And then, as my colleague Jess mentioned, the Global Safety Office is a wonderful resource for you. If you just Google Global Safety Office Northeastern, there can be resources there that you can work through that is representative for you as an international student traveling. There's resources that you can use as a London student should you need additional resources. But again, as a London Scholar student, you will need to be have your own personal health insurance during the year of the program. And then I do see a question here around vaccination. Everyone should have received an email yesterday from the program. Again, check your Northeastern email. You should have received an email from the program asking you to begin the process of submitting your health report for the university. And that's just letting us know that you've met with your doctors and that you're vaccinated and you have all of your updated requirements regarding your health report. So you should have received that. Again, check your Northeastern email. And please submit that as soon as possible to our University Health and Counseling Services website and department. And so that's UHCS. But again, all in your email, and you should have received that. I'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Shannon. I can see there's some questions about term dates as well, and in terms of the winter break. Jess, would you be able to just scroll back to that slide, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I will also say, as we've mentioned, this presentation will be sent to you via email. I know that there's also been questions about that, so you will receive this. You can go back and look at this information after this presentation as well, or after this webinar. So these are the term dates. So in terms of the winter break, your final exams will be in the week commencing the 11th. So your final date is the 15th of December. I believe it's the final date in December.
Yeah.
And then classes begin again on the 15th of January. So you have quite a good winter break there. I saw there was also some questions about parents staying over the winter break, and in terms of hotels, we do have some what do you call it, discount codes for different hotels and recommendations. And there will be an Instagram post on this coming out very soon, so keep an eye on our Instagram. You're also more than welcome to email us, and then we can answer any of those questions in terms of hotel recommendations. We do have the Tower Hotel, which is right next door, that we have some discount codes for, which is right next door to the campus. So we do recommend that hotel and a few other ones. Keep an eye on the Instagram and do send us an email, and we can tell you more about that. I know that there's a question here about your ideal day in London. And the first thing that came to mind from me was I absolutely love Sunday walks in London. In Shoreditch, which is very close to all of the accommodations, there is a flower market, which is open on Sundays from early morning till the afternoon. You can take a walk down Columbia Road Flower Market, that's what it's called. You can take a walk down there. There's a little city farm, which is a little farm in the middle of London where there's loads of little animals and stuff, and there's a little cafe. So I love to go there, have some lunch, and then continue my walk down to Broadway Market and down to a place called London Fields, which is a really nice park. So that's one of my favorite things to do on a Sunday in London. I don't know if anyone else have like an ideal day in London that they want to tell us about.
I mean, I personally go to every musical I can get tickets for. I'm a big theater fan, so if you like shows and musicals or plays, I think London is a great environment to be in. And there's like an app now that like helps you find super cheap tickets to shows and like really great seats as well. So that's certainly, I would encourage you all, if that's your thing, and maybe if it's not, to give it a go, because there's some great opportunities out there.
Thank you, Jess. Yeah, musicals are amazing. I only saw my first musical last year and I was blown away, and now I've watched at least 4 or 5, so it's definitely an amazing experience. I saw there was a question about the Instagram, which was a very good question, as I mentioned it. The Instagram is NULondon_global. I'll just say again, NULondon_global. That is the Instagram, and it is also on the last slide. So I don't know if we can go to that, Jess. I see there's a question about SIM cards, and that's also something that has actually just been posted on our Instagram. Different SIM card plans that we recommend, and SIM card providers that we recommend. There's a few different pay-as-you-go plans. You can also check if your own provider has an international plan. But do check out the Instagram post because that provides you loads of different information about SIM cards whilst you're in London. In terms of the weather in London and what clothes and shoes to bring, the weather can be a little bit rainy and a little bit windy. I would say pack for layers so that you can combine different things. It's always good to have a raincoat and some good shoes to walk in because most people here in London walk from place to place. So it's very good to have some good solid walking shoes. Old trainers. I'll just see if there's some other questions that we can answer.
I will just jump in if that's okay. So there was a couple of questions that came through just about the classes start dates and the fact that we have that welcome week. Just to kind of reinforce, it is the arrival date is the 3rd. The expectation is that you should be arriving on the 3rd, and that welcome week is mandatory to ensure that we provide you with all the appropriate and relevant orientation sessions, as well as all of the fun community building activities that we have that week. So the 3rd is the expected date of arrival for the London Scholars Programme. Still lots of questions.
We're getting a lot of amazing questions in. I hope everyone got their answers for the health insurance. And let me just see. Please do keep questions coming. Also, if it's anything about London or anything that one second.
In the meantime, I'm quite happy to chat about my kind of days in London that I enjoy. Borough Market, some of you, it's quite famous, some of you might have heard about it. It's a fantastic food market in London, and it's surrounded by some amazing places to explore. So I like to go around that area. But equally for me, I'm a particular fan of live music, and London is fantastic for that. And the amount of varied venues for all of the variety of musics that you can go and see is fantastic. In particular, there's some brilliant venues, one in Camden, which is the Roundhouse, which is brilliant. And there's the Royal Albert Hall, which does honestly some amazing things. But my favorite is that they do film screenings with live orchestras. I can't say that word, which is beautiful. So honestly, the opportunities in London are endless.
They definitely are. In terms of, I can see somebody had questions surrounding cooking and food in whilst you're in London. There aren't any meal plans, but you do have a kitchen in each of the apartments that you're in. You'll have your own kitchens so that you can make your own food. We'll also provide you with a recipe book when you arrive and how to kind of start up with cooking for yourself and stuff like that. So we'll provide you with loads of guidance on that. I'm sure your RLCs are more than happy to provide you with any guidance and support and help you with that as well. And then we do have things like Uber Eats and Deliveroo too, which I know are quite popular. But it is super easy to buy food in London. There's loads of different shops around the areas where the accommodation is, loads of different shops around campus. So it is very easy to cook and or get the food around London. I can see there's a question in terms of clubs and societies. So different sports clubs and societies through the student union. You can already contact them now if there's something that you're interested in starting up when you come in or join in. There will also be a big welcome fair with all the clubs and societies present on the Wednesday of the welcome week. So on campus, there'll be all of the clubs and societies present where you can go and have a conversation with them, get to know them, and ask all the questions that you have about their clubs and societies. And you'll also have the chance to set up your own. So if there's something that you think could be a really good fit here in London, or something that you're really interested in getting involved with, then you also have the chance to set up your own. We had a I can't say that word right now, robotics team that actually got started by one of our mobility students last year. And they wanted to go to a competition at Cambridge University. And I think everything got set up a little bit last minute, and they didn't get to test the robot before they left. But they actually ended up going to Cambridge University and won the competition. So there are loads of great and amazing opportunities. So we definitely recommend looking into that, and it's a great way to meet some of the domestic students as well. There's loads of different running clubs and football clubs. There's a Taylor Swift society and all sorts of different societies that you can join, but you'll meet them all during that welcome fair on the Wednesday during welcome week. And definitely utilize that and go speak to them. You can find the list of the current societies on their website. So if you search for NU London Student Union, that should come up. I can also just find the website right now. Their website is nchsu.org. So that's nchsu.org. And then you can find all the information about the student union and all the societies and clubs that are currently at NU London. For the hotels, as I mentioned before, do email us in terms of the discounts for different hotels, and do keep an eye on the Instagram, because we will also be posting that in the next couple of weeks, where you'll get loads of information on the hotels that we recommend around campus and the discounts as well. Any other questions? Is there anything anyone else wants to share? Anything that people would think it would be useful to know? See, there's a question about snow in London, which is a good question. We do not get a lot of snow in London. I think that's unfortunate because I love snow. But we don't get a lot of snow often. We might get a day or two in January. But usually there's not a lot of snow. It can get a little bit cold over the winter. So thick socks are good, but I would also say if you feel like you end up needing that, you can also buy it here in London. The accommodations are greatly insulated. Is that what it's called? So your room shouldn't get too cold during the winter, and there'll also be radiators. So it's more if you think it's cozy to have some good socks. Do keep the questions coming. If there's anything else anyone wants to share, or anyone wants to this is the final chance to get all those questions out. I actually don't know. We've just had a question about a dance team, and I actually don't know if there is a dance team at the moment. There might be like a salsa club or something like that. And one of our RLCs is also a salsa teacher. So there might be a chance there that there'll be a salsa class at some point as an event. So, and if there's other dances that you're interested in that are not covered or part of the clubs and societies, that's definitely also something that go for it, join it, and set it up with the student union.
We do have a Taylor Swift society. I know that one is a really very successful society last year, which is one that I love in particular. So that's always a good one.
Definitely. I think there's like a coffee one as well. There's like loads of different things.
I can take the question on the bags. So the reason why we say, so in terms of when you're flying normally in the UK, obviously, or anywhere in the world, it's normally that you get one bag that you can check in. I've just, my laptop's just died. You go for it.
No, go ahead.
My laptop's just died.
Yeah, but my phone is on there.
Oh, great. We've got one bag that you normally can check in under the hall, and then one bag that you take into the main of the airplane. Obviously, the reason why we specified 2 bags is because some people pay to have an extra bag that they bring with them, and some people pay for more than just those 2 bags. So we have to be quite clear that if you are intending to bring an extra bag, that you do limit yourself in terms of the size of those bags, just in terms of the space and bringing them across.
Yeah, because the thing is that on our coaches there's limited space, and we want to make sure that we can accommodate everyone and have all students on those coaches. And then it is also the fact that you will have to carry those bags yourselves, both through the airport and to the accommodation. When you get there, you'll have to get them to the accommodation as well. So please do make sure that you limit the amount of bags that you bring.
And just want to jump in on that note on bags. So as Robin mentioned, if you're on the group flight, we can assure you that you are covered for one checked bag. So the second bag will be something that you'll need to cover personally. But then the recommendation from us and our colleagues in London is that you maintain just having 2 bags for all the reasons that they're sharing with you around space, around having to manage carrying bags from different places regarding your transportation. But then also you can buy things when you get there as well, right? There's tons of opportunities for you to get things that you need. Once you arrive, you don't need to bring everything with you. So I just want to clarify that for folks.
Thank you, Shannon. That is good to know. Any last questions from anyone? We've just had a question about tennis, and there are lots of different tennis courts over all around London. There are also some that are close to campus, so it's just about looking up where you can find those. You can also speak to your RLC, and I'm sure they'll help you research some of this. But there's definitely opportunities for tennis. Water polo, I am not 100% sure. But tennis definitely. I've just had some questions about in terms of storing stuff prior to the 3rd. Unfortunately, you won't have access to any storage in the accommodation buildings until the 3rd. So as Jess mentioned earlier, there's loads of different storage opportunities and different storage providers. So when you get sent this, I don't know, Jess, if you want to just go back to the storage slide so we can quickly see that.
Yep.
Thank you. Because the rooms will not be ready till 3rd of September for you guys to move in. So unfortunately, there won't be a opportunity to store in the accommodation buildings before the 3rd. And here is the storage options that we recommend. Perfect. Well, I think we've come to the end of this webinar. This was really great. It was really great to have you all here. Thank you for all of the amazing questions, really good questions. We hope that you have gotten all the information that you wanted and needed. And we can't wait to have you here in London. We can't wait to welcome you here and show you all the amazing things that you can do. And yeah, we're very much looking forward to seeing you. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you. Bye, everyone.